Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of what I hope to have become a very long-running film comment and critique series. So you can see, I've got the proverbial shit ton and a half of films behind me. Everything from classic cinema to USA Up All Night garbage, trauma stuff, you name it. I've got it, or I've got something close to it. So I'm calling this one the Cinema of Film. And yes, the title is ridiculous, but the title is inspired by another film. And if anyone can tell me what film gave me the idea for my title, I will buy you a copy of it on Blu-ray. Hell, I don't even own it on Blu-ray. So for tonight's first film, American Ninja, Canon Films, 1985, starring the great Michael Dudikoff. And for a film of this magnitude, there is only one person on the face of the earth that can discuss the awesomeness that is this film. My very first guest is a Chicago rock and roll legend. He's putting the sexy back in the rock and roll. He is probably, I always used to say rock like fuck. He's the originator of rock like fuck, in all honesty. His stage show, phenomenal. Coming at us live from Makeout City, Chicago, we have the lead singer and bassist from I Love Rich, Rich Love. Rich, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you tonight?
If I really told you, it's exhausting. I've been trying to get a serve on Tiffany Henyard and just turning and burning all day long. But it's been long, it's been grueling. But the one thing that kept me going was knowing I'd be coming home discussing this film with you. I'm stoked to do this, brother. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man.
All right. So what was your first introduction to this cinematic classic? Do you remember when you first saw this one?
Yeah, I'm sure it was like when I was in high school. It was a late night movie on Channel 9. In high school, my parents started letting me stay up a little later. So I would often watch the late night movie on Friday nights, and it was usually, sometimes it'd be like The Warriors or Death Wish, but every now and again you'd get really lucky and it'd be something with a ninja, and that was always always aces for me. So yeah.
Gotta love it. For me, it was yeah, I'd probably watch it in the same fashion. I know it was not on USA Up All Night, but I probably saw it on like HBO or something like that at about 2 in the morning. My big thing on Friday, Saturday nights after hanging out with my friends, I'd be come home and just watch whatever the late night TV stuff was. And it was always classic stuff like this or Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or something like
That's a
that.
banger.
Or what?
I said that one's a banger.
Oh, it's another classic. I hope that the what you call it, the place that stores all the film history society. I forget what they actually call it. They'll take a copy of a film and make sure it's preserved for all mankind forever. I hope they've got a copy of that one in there.
Well, I would hope so too.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, why even bother having film history?
Why have Casablanca if you don't have Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? I mean, why does it even exist?
Exactly. Why bother? Just call it a day and say no more. That's my view on it. So this copy I got, this was put out by Kino Lorber. Do you own a physical copy yourself?
I do. I don't have the fancy. I just have a crappy Blu-ray though. I don't have. I mean, a crappy DVD from 15 years ago. I don't have the cool update ones they have.
This one's awesome. They've got audio commentary with the director. What's his name? Sam Firstberg.
I think it's Furstenberg, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Furstenberg. I'm trying to read it back with a light screaming in my eyes. I don't recommend kids try that at home.
No, of course not.
No. Can you name one other film he directed?
Oh, I can name a lot of other films he directed. He did most of the great Canon Ninja movies. He did the first three American Ninja movies. He did the second two. He did Revenge of the Ninja and Ninja 3: The Domination. And I believe he also did the only other Dudikoff Steve Jones like joint that happened outside of this was a movie called Avenging Force, which was low key a sequel to Invasion USA.
Okay. I've got one film that I'm thinking of in particular. In this one, if anybody has never seen or heard of any of the films that you've just named, well, A, they suck. B, they need to watch some films. But C, I can name one film and everyone will go, oh, that guy. Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep. Directed by the same guy.
He did a whole lot of Cannon films.
Yeah. I mean, in Cannon itself, I mean, how awesome was Cannon back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, if you had me to list like my 15, 20 favorite movies, probably about half of them are Cannon movies. So,
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just ridiculous with doing the Cannon films. If we don't have Cannon, we don't have Chuck Norris in the 80s, just about.
Well, yeah, I mean, they certainly, the biggest, most of his biggest movies he did with Cannon films. So, yeah, for sure.
And then Sylvester Stallone, Cobra, another Cannon.
Well, don't forget, Over the Top is also a Cannon film.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, the good old arm wrestling movie.
Yeah.
I think you and I might be the only two people that saw that one.
Oh, no. I mean, every girlfriend over the years I've forced to watch it with me. So there's at least 7 or 8 other people who've seen it.
Nice. So you get a girl over Makeout City over the years.
Yeah,
if
you don't get over the top, you don't get me. What can I tell
you? I love it, brother. That is great. So basically, let's go through the plot of this. We've got Joe Armstrong, who he's the bad boy. He had 2 choices: go to jail or join the army. Almost sounds like Vietnam.
Yeah, well, a lot of people got that choice in Vietnam.
Exactly. And here's something I just thought of. A film made in the 80s, shot in the Philippines, that did not center around the Vietnam War.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the only ones, right? Because all the Vietnam exploitation movies, they were almost all shot. Like all the Missing in Actions and there's like POW, the Carradine one. Those are all shot in the Philippines.
Every single one of them, and along with Platoon. In fact, Platoon just finished shooting before they shot this. They had some of the same crew, and then before that, they had Apocalypse Now over there. I
love that there was dudes who were like working on Platoon for weeks on end, and now it's like, oh, what's the next project? Oh, it's American Ninja with Michael Dudikoff. That just fucking rules.
That's great. That is absolutely great. So we get Joe, Soldier Boy, who's in the army, and of course he's got an attitude. Nobody seems to like him, and he doesn't seem to like anybody. Then we get Curtis Jackson comes in. Who played Curtis Jackson? What was his name?
The great Steve James.
Steve James, yes, Steve James. Steve James don't like him, and of course, this film follows every single cliche, but does it so well and so perfectly that it almost defines the cliche, if that made any sense.
No, for sure.
So you've got the white guy who, of course, in the 80s, and this is right around a Lethal Weapon. White guy's got to have a buddy, therefore it's got to be the black guy. But they've got to hate each other first. And how do they get there? You want to tell us about that fight scene?
It's inexplicable when you think about it, because the fight starts because one of the first scenes of the movie is Michael Dudikoff, Joe, the American Ninja, is driving that weapons platoon thing in. He's driving the weapon shipment, and they get stopped by thieves, and he kind of hot dogs it and escalates everything and gets a couple people killed, right? That's how the movie starts. And then Steve James starts a fight with them because some of his friends were killed in that fight. He gets his ass kicked by him, and then immediately is like, oh, well, he must be cool now, guys. It's inexplicable.
It's like, oh, you kicked my ass by putting a bucket over my head and kicking the bucket, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the shit kicked out of me by a guy once and went to jail. I'm not going to talk about how nice he was.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, naturally, they're best buddies. And then through that, of course, that's where we get our introduction to Patricia, played by Judy Aronson. Have you heard anything about her in the making of this film at all?
I don't know much about her in the making of this film. I know she had another couple. She was in a couple. She's in one of the Friday the 13th movies, right?
Yeah, she's in the final chapter.
Right.
She's in that one. On this one, she was
the final chapter, as it's otherwise known, movie 4 of 17. But yes,
exactly. Yeah. Final chapter until we do the epilogue in the rewrites, and all that. Yeah. She was pretty much described. Well, they said she was nice. Everyone enjoyed working with her, but they described her as the ultimate pain in the ass Jewish American princess on set.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, she was freaking at everything. We've got a scene in there where her and Dudikoff jump off a quote unquote cliff. It's actually like a 5-foot jump into a river. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, she had a panic attack on it. It was too far for her to jump.
Well, I mean, you're asking some like 5'10" actress, like not even some small little petite actress chick to do some crazy stunts. I mean, I get that she might. It's not unreasonable that she might have been freaked out by it,
And especially given what her salary was on this one, probably.
Right. You wouldn't want to be risking your life for what she made.
Hell no. They jump into a jungle river where there's probably piranhas, snakes, alligators, and crocodiles. Yeah, sure.
She does a really good job of one of my favorite movie tropes is when there's literally like ninjas coming to kill her. The woman is like, oh, you can't mess up my shoes though. I mean, just completely oblivious to in any other movie, like the accused has come to kill us. And she's like, but I want to dance first. No. That's one of my favorite tropes in an action movie.
In fact, what that reminded me of? The only other time where there's high heels in a jungle and the shoes played a role, Romancing the Stone.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That was an immediate comparison when I saw that one. She was also the only female in the cast on this one.
I mean, she's probably the only I'm trying to think. I mean, there might be a waitress or something, but she's probably the only woman with a speaking role for sure.
Yeah, there's nobody, outside of waitresses when they're in the restaurants or whatnot. But in terms of just actual, canon is paying you to be in this movie, come on over to the Philippines. She was the only female.
Hilarious.
The only female, yeah. And, and she's in the jungle for, I think it was 6 weeks with Michael Dudikoff, who she developed a crush on.
Well, who wouldn't?
I mean, he's the dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on, he's a dreamboat.
Yeah, and of course he had those awesome karate abilities. What do you think of how would you describe his karate abilities?
I mean, he's fairly athletic, but I mean, this isn't even me making fun of him. He didn't know much of anything about karate when he signed on to do this movie. I mean, it's kind of like he will tell you that. He's a pretty terrible martial artist.
That's one way to put it.
right.
Now, if you want to be a glass half full type of guy, he was so badass that he was able to defeat Curtis Jackson with his most rudimentary moves.
Right, exactly. By putting a bucket on his head and throwing him around. Yeah,
exactly. And the bucket was all improv. That wasn't even in the script. That was Dudikoff coming up with that on his own.
Yeah, I mean, nothing he does. I mean, it's sort of that's how one of the first ninja movies. I'm not sure which came out first. The Octagon, which obviously had Chuck Norris, who was a legitimate karate guy, no matter what you say. And then the other one that came out right around the time period that really kicked the ninja thing off was Enter the Ninja. And Franco Nero, in theory, was the ninja, and he had considerably less martial arts ability than Dudikoff had. But you know, the ninja, it's a cheat code. It's like a superhero movie. You put the
Yeah.
costume on, you put somebody who knows what they're doing in the costume, and there you go. I mean, you know, you don't really have to know that much.
And back to Chuck Norris. Did you know this movie was originally written for Chuck Norris?
I did know that.
I figured if anybody knew it, because I mean, it's American Ninja's Norris. I mean, anyone's going to know that. You're going to know that. Tell us why he turned down this film, allegedly.
The story goes that he turned it down because he didn't want to cover up that beautiful face of his.
I mean, can you blame him? He's Chuck Norris.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of funny that like they literally like turn around and then hire a model to do the same, a male model to do the same role, and he covers up his face without any complaining. Right.
Exactly. And the reason they hired him was because of his looks.
Oh, for sure. Because he looks like James
because
Dean.
Of his looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we're hiring him for his looks, and we're going to cover up his face at the end. And you know, that's the one thing that got me. I mean, like I said, the movie does hit every cliche, but to the point where it defines. It's where this is where all cliches based off of. It does it so well. I would think Chuck Norris would say, well, you know what? Maybe if I talk to them and maybe I'm just wearing a bandana or something, they'd say, okay, yeah. I would have seen. I wonder what it would have been like if they could have had a compromise and they could have had Chuck Norris.
It's definitely one of the things that worked out because there's like that. American Ninja came out, and Invasion USA came out within 2 months of each other. There's like a 6-week period that Canon Films drops Invasion USA, American Ninja, and Death Wish 3, and which is the best film production company in the history of the world right there. And at their all-time peak. And we wouldn't have gotten Invasion USA had he done this. So it worked out for everybody.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Definitely. And we also got more from Dudikoff. Not that we didn't have him before, because we did have him in Bachelor Party.
Yeah, but this obviously kicks off his action movie run.
Absolutely. And in an absolute banger of a way. So what would you describe as being like the one scene in this movie where it's like, yes, if I'm going to tell anybody about this movie, I'm going to describe this scene?
Probably. I mean, it's an obvious scene to pick, but the fighting at the end when the ninja starts, when the Black Star Ninja has the flamethrower and the ninjas are disappearing and reappearing in other spots of the screen. I mean, that's probably like if you really want to explain the craziness of that movie, that's the scene you would show.
Definitely, and everyone just stands around and watches it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the keys to ninja movies is the main bad ninja is always this like unstoppable fighting machine, but like everybody else is easily stoppable. Like, you know, Dudikoff throws 3 punches and he's out. You know, every single one of them. You know, it's just the main guy who is the great villain at the end. You know,
gotta have it. I mean, every ninja movie, every kung fu movie's got it. I mean, hell, the whole Pai Mei, he was the same thing.
Absolutely.
It's damn right. So, now, of course, the movie's not without what someone call faults. What's the one most ridiculous thing in this movie where you see them do it and they're like, you got to be fucking kidding me?
Well, the car crash. I should have had the names in front of me. I should have prepared with it slightly better. But the car crash when the car is going about 3 miles an hour and hits a tree at the end when the bad colonel's in it. That's all. I mean, it adds to the charm of the film, obviously. But that's like, how did anyone in a major movie company sign off on that?
That's where he throws the driver out and then it crashes, correct?
Right, it crashes literally at about 5 miles an hour, and then it explodes like the tree must have been filled with dynamite.
You know, they make it look so easy. I'd buy a shitbox car just to do that if it would do that every time. I'd be blowing up a car a month. The guy that he threw out of there was actually Michael Stone, the stunt coordinator.
Yeah, I'm sure Michael Stone. I'm sure because he was I believe he was the original. When you go back to Enter the Ninja, he was supposed to be the star of that movie, but he was such a bad actor. They got Franco Nero to do the obviously not ninja parts, and they kept him on to do all the ninja things.
And such a bad actor that they get Franco Nero, who made his name acting in Italy, where they didn't even record dialogue.
Right, right. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
clearly not him talking when
No.
you watch that
movie. I think for me, what I think was probably the most ridiculous scene, where Joe's explaining how his parents died in the plane crash, and then he was taught all this stuff at 6 years old, and then they got separated in an explosion.
Oh yeah, yeah, by the Mr. Miyagi type character.
Yeah. Now the mining company explosion. How lame was that freaking explosion?
It's pretty weak. I mean, it's not great.
I've set off M80s that have done more damage than that. But and I had them the good old days. My dad lived in Nashville. Fireworks are legal in Tennessee, so I'd go visit him in the summers. And I actually flew from Nashville to Chicago with a box full of M80s on the airplane.
Wow.
Sitting in the smoking section.
Well, the 80s and 90s were different.
Absolutely. I think nothing defines that more than this movie. So let's see. This is now Ninja.
I love in the plot how when the American Ninja doesn't know how he got his karate ability, and he knows nothing about his past. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't join the army and have it be on your record, we don't know when he's born. We don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have to look this stuff up. I mean, I'm not positive on that, especially not in the 80s, not in wartime.
No, in Vietnam, they probably would have taken anybody. But yeah, in the 80s, I mean, yeah, in fact, that was probably the most laughable, one of the most laughable parts of the film. Where's the file on this guy? We know nothing about him.
Nothing.
Silch. I mean, it's a mystery guy. And hell,
we're going to go ahead and let him drive this like $5 million worth of rockets, though.
Yeah. We don't know if you have a driver's license, but hey, here's the keys. Go for it. God, I think about it. The more I think about this, God, it's but it's just so damn enjoyable that you forgive that stuff. Any other film where I see something like that, I'm a big Mystery Science Theater fan. I'd be ripping and riffing on it. This one, I'm watching. I just let it slide. You just rock with the awesomeness.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, he's very likable. Everyone in it, it's too bad Steve James passed away as early as he did, because I mean, the two stars in this film are like incredibly likable, and it's really too bad they didn't get. I mean, we got three pretty banger movies out of them, so that's pretty great. But it's too bad they could have done a little more,
Yeah, the charisma that they had together. I mean, they had the charisma, they had the chemistry, everything about it just absolutely freaking worked.
Oh, absolutely.
And hell, I would have loved to have seen them two in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool.
I think it would have.
They certainly were nicer guys than Mel Gibson.
Oh God, don't even get me started on that asshole. Jeez. And then look where the Lethal Weapon films went. I mean, at the end, they're all having babies and smiling and stuff, and it went from a film noir to a family film in 5 films in a 5-film series. Pathetic.
The first two are absolutely perfect movies, though. So.
Oh, the first 2 are great. The third I'll watch just because of Joe Pesci.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Is it something I own that? Hey, yeah, no. If I was going to own, I'd be owning the first 2. The third I'll watch if it's on. 4 and 5. Screw them. Absolutely screw them. So out of scale 1 to 5 ninja swords, how many ninja swords would you give this one?
Oh, 5, absolutely.
Same here. And you know what's you ain't gonna believe this shit. I'm looking over at Rotten Tomatoes. 0.
There's no hope for this country.
Zilch, man. I mean, if it was ever more evident, it's looking at the Rotten Tomatoes reviews on this movie. I mean, These people don't get it. They absolutely don't get it. Let's see. There's so this is what happens to the support cast of Grease. One guy put up a review and just didn't write anything. What a freaking
well, that's
genius.
great stuff.
Yeah. There was another good one. It has persisted because it so perfectly encapsulates in a single film the beloved cheesiness of a bygone era when low-budget action fares still had a theatrical presence and ninjas still had an air of mystery. And this guy gave it 2.5 out of 4. I can kind of see that. I think part of its charm, watching this thing now, 40 years later, I watch it. It takes me back to that whole era. Seeing this stuff in the theater. This one I didn't see in the theater, but the Franco Nero film, I saw that in the theater.
Nice.
Yeah. I myself, I've absolutely got to highly recommend this. I've got to give this 5 Ninja Swords as well. An absolute classic. Hits every cliche the right way. It doesn't piss you off with the cliches it hits, and absolute banger of an action. So from me and Rich Love, we're both saying go out, watch this film. Do not be a douchebag. Watch it, enjoy it. This one rocks. So in closing, tell us how to contact you to find out what shows you got going on, what albums you got coming out, what's pimp your shit, brother.
Well, our music, I Love Rich, is it's streaming any major streaming thing you can find it on. We're on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, although no one really uses Twitter anymore, but we in theory have it. We're replacing a member, but we're going to be back at it in the fall. We've got like 3 songs pretty much ready to go, so we're probably going to have some new music out by the end of the year too. So, fun.
Freaking awesome. And you got to, when they're back doing the shows, you got to go besides the awesome rock and roll with songs like Hot Topic and all that, that Rich sign, dude, that is phenomenal.
It's good stuff.
The first time I'd seen you, it's like when I started the Love Dictators, I remember I always wanted to do like an arena rock show in the clubs. So I remember going to a pyrotechnic website and finding all this cool stuff. I found flames that would shoot up 3 feet high, all kinds of flashbang stuff. I was going to buy it right then and there. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep it in the shopping cart until payday 2 days later. Well, the next day, Great White had this show in Rhode Island.
Yeah, that didn't go well for him.
Nah. And then not long after that, it was banned. Got to thank you for bringing the arena rock to the city of Chicago. And time's running out on this thing. I got to upgrade to the official version, but if you're down for it in the future, I'd love to have you back. I've got a film in mind. I'll even give you my copy of the DVD, brother.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, keep your messages open. I'll be talking to you in a minute. And everyone out there, thank you for watching the inaugural podcast of the Cinema of Film, and we'll talk to you later.